Hey guys, welcome back to part 5 of the Q&A. Right, okay, so straight on to the next question. And first question is from i64x. And his question is, would you rather that modern consoles be exactly as they are, focused around motion controls, online play, cameras, online game patching, frequent updates and patches, etc. Or would you rather they just be like classic consoles with a couple of control ports, AV out, and modern processing power? Great question, mate. Yeah, I think in pure terms of hardware, I do prefer the old way of doing things. A couple of controllers, AV out, as you say. Obviously you want the modern processing power because obviously we need to evolve and get AI better and make the games better, and that obviously, not just graphics of course. But yeah, all those things, motion controls, I like motion controls, don't really have a problem with them. They're very badly used, but sometimes they get it right with a lot of Wii Sports. That's probably about the only time I've ever really enjoyed them. Online play, I'd get rid of that. Cameras, don't really care, get rid of that. Patching and frequent updates drives me insane, and there's just no need for it at all, and definitely needs to go. They need to just test the games properly, make sure they work perfectly before they go out the door, instead of just getting them out early and then going, oh well, we can just patch it. No, you can't. That's just not acceptable at all. Yeah, so basically I would say, yeah, I prefer the old style way. I'd like to be able to just put the console on, put the game in and play it. As simple as that. And I'd love, as I said earlier, go back to cartridges as well, because no loading times is a godsend. God, miss cartridges. Right, okay, so next questions are from 64-bit Matthew, otherwise known as... I've forgotten your previous name, Matt. That's really clever, isn't it? Shit, what was your last screen name you had before? God, my brain's gone completely blank. I don't believe that. What was Matt's last name? I'm sorry, Matthew, I've totally had a brain freeze there. I can't think what your screen name was before. Shit. Totally at a loss, my mind's gone blank. If it comes back to me in a minute, I'm sorry about that, Matt. Okay. Okay, congratulations on the 3,000 subs. Thank you, Matthew. Excellent. So, a couple of questions from Matt. And his first question is, what is your earliest gaming memory? That would be playing Wily Exploding Fist on the Commodore 64. Yeah, that was like the very first thing I ever experienced in terms of video games on my dad's Commodore 64. And very vague memory, I don't remember exactly why or what happened, but I just remember in my bedroom he set the Commodore 64 up, and this is assuming my memory is correct. He set it up on the floor with what I assume must have been like a 14-inch monitor or TV at the time, probably a TV. And he let me have a go, and I played Wily Exploding Fist, and it was just absolutely awesome. And I was addicted. Basically, I never, could never put games down after that. It was just absolutely awesome. Question number 2: what is one of the games you would be most excited to find at a thrift store, car boot sale, etc.? I'd really be chuffed if, and it's never going to happen, to find any American Super Nintendo game. That would be amazing. I found that American Sega Genesis the other week, well, a few months ago now. But that was just ridiculous. I did not expect to find that. So if I was to find boxed American Super Nintendo games, that would be insane, and I'd love that. Especially if it was Earthbound, because I could sell it on eBay for a fortune. Question number 3: for new YouTubers just starting out, what is one of the most important things you think they should keep in mind or know in regards to being on YouTube? That's a really great question. I know it gets asked a lot of different people, and it's really interesting to hear people's points of view on this. I think when you're starting out, the most important thing to keep in mind is, well, in fact, there's a couple of things. One is communication. That is key. At least that's the way I see it. I've always thought that communication is the most important thing. You need to come on here and be able to interact with other people, whether it be replying to your comments and PMs, or obviously leaving comments on people's videos, getting to know people, becoming part of the community. Because without the community, you're just posting videos and that's all you're doing, and that's pointless. I don't understand why some people do that, and I've seen people do that in the past. And I've seen new people coming on YouTube, and I've enjoyed their content, and I've left them a comment, no response. So I thought, okay, fair enough. Left them another comment on the next video, no response. So I just think, well, okay, and unsub. That's just, I don't understand why people do that. There's just no point in just posting videos unless you're trying to be a professional. I understand then, but if you're like us and you're just making videos, why would you make a video and expect people to watch it and not interact with those people? makes no sense to me at all. So that is important. Interaction and communication are key. Also, another thing is just make sure that when you make videos, you're not doing it for the wrong reason, which is a difficult thing to explain. But basically, I make my videos. I know a lot of people say I'll make my video for me first, and some people seem to think that that's not true, and that you're attention seeking, and that's the only reason you're putting videos out there. And you want people to watch. Of course, you want people to watch. You wouldn't put the videos up otherwise. But you have to first of all make the video and be pleased with it yourself. So it is for you. I've always had the idea that basically when I make a video, I'll watch that video back, and if I can get through the whole video and enjoy the video and actually relax and forget that it's me that I'm watching, and I just imagine it's the video I'm watching on YouTube, then if I'm enjoying it, I know that other people may enjoy it and it's worth posting on YouTube. If I think it's crap, I'll just scrap it and start again and do something different or reshoot the whole video. That's not a problem. But I just think you have to be happy with the content on your channel first of all, and don't listen to people when they try and get you to change your channel, because as soon as you change it, you're losing your personality, you're losing what makes your channel and what attracts people to your channel. So you need to just be completely true to yourself. Don't try and copy everybody else in their style. Obviously you can do the same sort of videos as everybody else, because we all do pick-up videos and collection videos and all of that kind of thing, but it's about you the person and your style and your personality, and that will come across on camera. Don't try and fake it and pretend to be something that you're not, and try and be more professional than you are. And just to be yourself. Just talk to the camera like you're talking to your mate down the pub. Don't try and come up with some crazy wacky personality because it looks fake and you look like a twat, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, those are my tips for anybody that's thinking of starting a YouTube channel. I don't know what you think of that, but yeah, that's the way I see it anyway. Not that I'm any expert or anything, but it's really annoying me that I can't remember what Matthew's channel was before, because I've been subscribed to him for ages, so I should know it. My brain's just gone completely blank because he only recently started the 64-bit Matthew channel. He changed his channel. Ramstein fan. There it is, got it. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4? 3, 2, 4? Never could get the numbers right, but it's Ramstein fan. He's now 64-bit Matthew, so if you were watching him before, you've never seen his channel, check him out because he's a really nice bloke. Great channel as well. Okay, next ones are from Joy Joe. Question number 1, what are your thoughts on GTA 5? Honestly, I've not really paid too much attention. I'm kind of like waiting to see because I don't want to spoil the game. I've got to the point now where a lot of games when they come out that I'm interested in get oversaturated with the preamble. There's a lot of videos that come out, a lot of trailers, a lot of walkthroughs, a lot of discussion. And I find a lot of the time, because I can't resist it, I watch it all. And I know too much about the game before it gets released, and it kind of spoils the story and spoils the gaming experience in a little way. So I'm trying to hold back, and I haven't really paid much attention to any of the GTA 5 stuff. I saw the initial trailer, that looked brilliant, I left it at that. I know there have been some screenshots and things that have come out since then, and I've seen them now and again, but I'm trying to avoid as much as I can because I really love GTA 4, and I'm really excited for GTA 5, and I want to wait and see what it's like when it comes out and experience it fresh. But yeah, it's going to be brilliant. It's Rockstar, and to be quite honest, they've never made a bad GTA, so I don't think we need to worry about that one. And number 2, which launch titles would you be getting for the Wii U? Right, okay. I hope you don't mind, but I don't really want to disclose that at this point, just because I want to wait, because otherwise I think the pickup video when I get the Wii U will be kind of boring for people to watch, because it'll be just like like all the other thousands of YouTube videos showing pickups of the Wii U. At least if I don't tell you now what I've ordered, it'll be a nice surprise on the day and it'll give you a reason to watch the video. Hope you don't mind that, mate. Okay. Next question is from Live Toby. Hello, Toby. And do you have a live channel somewhere? I don't. This is the only channel I have, and this is the only kind of social media that I get involved in as well. I just don't have the time to do more than one channel. It's enough to be able to handle the one channel. In fact, I don't know how people with multiple channels handle that, to be quite honest with you. Next question is from, and I can't even read that, so I'm going to have to expand the page a minute. 1 second. That's a one massive name. Right, Longrod von Hugenden. Jesus Christ, that's an interesting name. What is your favourite Speccy game if you had one? Honestly, as a kid, I wouldn't say hated the Spectrum, but I mean, back in the day when I was a kid, it was what they would now term as fanboyism. and I absolutely adored the Commodore 64 and thought the Spectrum was a pile of crap at that point when I was a kid. When I was a kid, you know, you don't have perspective as a kid. You just, when I was a kid, you looked at the Spectrum and you went, Jesus Christ, man, it's yellow and it's red and it's green and blue. What the hell's that? Commodore 64's got proper graphics. You know, you didn't understand that, you know, just because it had that weird colour scheme, that there are some great games on the system, and there were. I can't honestly remember a lot of, like, I suppose what you'd call Spectrum exclusives that I played back in the day, because a lot of the stuff was cross-platform from what I can remember. I was very young at that point, so it's hard to remember a lot of the games that I played. But mostly games we played with my friends, because all my friends had Spectrums, bar one, who had an Amstrad, and I was the only kid who had a Commodore 64. And we all played pretty much the same games on each system, so like Rambo and Commando and Renegade was a massive game. We used to play that a lot. So yeah, I never really had a Spectrum game as such that really stood out for me. It's like we all pretty much played the same games in the different formats. Thank you for the question anyway. Next question is from Rowan Masters. Are you going to the midnight launch for Halo 4 in Weston? I actually didn't know there was one, mate, to be quite honest. Is that Game Station, is it? I wasn't aware there was a Halo 4 launch. That would be actually quite cool. Yeah, I'll have to find out about that now. Actually, I didn't realise that was going to happen, and I'm really looking forward to Halo 4 because that. I mean, I'm a massive Halo fan anyway, so I was going to buy it either way. But I must admit, after seeing that video at E3, they showed that small clip. Oh man, they seem to have done a really good job, and it looks like they're going to do Bungie proud. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I'll have to look into that. So I wasn't aware there wasn't a midnight launch. It also depends on what day it is going on, because if it's a weekday, I've got work and I have to get up early in the morning, so I don't know if I'll be able to do it anyway, to be quite honest with you. Okay, next question is from 666 Jedi Mind Tricks, so to say, 666. And a couple of questions. And question number one, so drink me tea. Okay, should Nintendo make an aggressive bid to capture the flag with regard to Sega and secure some legendary franchises? Nintendo plus Sega equals game over. Don't think of it as Nintendo asking Sega to pick up the soap. Nice. It would be good if you look at like Bayonetta. I mean, Bayonetta 2, that's a Nintendo and Sega collaboration, because Nintendo are going to publish that, which is absolutely fantastic. So it's kind of weird that they're working together, but yeah, I think that'd be quite cool. Me personally, I would prefer at the moment to see Nintendo poach Rare from Microsoft, because Microsoft are really underusing Rare and they're just abusing them, and they need to leave Microsoft and go back to Nintendo and make some absolutely amazing killer titles for the Wii U. That's what we need more than anything at the moment. But yeah, I mean, other than that, yeah, Sega and Nintendo, that'd be really good. Sega and Nintendo come together and take down Microsoft and Sony. That would be quite nice, actually. Question number two. If Arnold Schwarzenegger had you by the short and curlies and asked you to give up one system plus games, which one would it be? Either give up a system or the big fella will turn your nuts to dust. Oh my god. That's a good question. One system plus games. Well, it ain't going to be the SNES, it ain't going to be the Xbox, it ain't going to be the PS1. Ooh. Maybe the N64, but I know as soon as I did it I'd regret it. Like I always do. I'm just trying to think out the systems I've got at the moment, yeah. That's really hard, because there isn't a system I've got that I'd actually be willing to give up at this point. But then again, if you're going to get your nuts crushed, I'd pass on the N64 and then buy it back later on. That would be the best way. Question number three. Are peanut M&Ms the best chocolate that a man can buy? No, but they're close. For me, it's got to be the Kit Kat Chunky Peanut. That is the best chocolate on earth. Amazing. And before that, my favourite was the, I don't know what it was called, but it was the special Mars bar they released years ago, where it had nugget in the middle of it. Oh my god, that was just absolute heaven. That was the best. Yeah, I really wish they'd bring that out, because that was amazing. But I also like a bit of Maltesers as well, and yeah, in fact, quite honestly, chocolate in general. You can't go wrong with chocolate. And okay, next questions are from Classic Spin Dash. So thank you, mate. And question number one: do you ever play online? Not anymore. I used to before. I previously used to play Halo 2, played Call of Duty 2, played Halo 3 for a bit as well. But I played Gears of War when that first came out on co-op, which was excellent. Other than that, I really don't care about online gaming. I find it kind of boring, to be quite honest. I find it kind of like it's the same thing all the time. They never come up with any new ideas and make it fresh. Co-op's brilliant, but generally it's just deathmatch and capture the flag and reskinned, and it's kind of boring. And I only like to play online with friends as well, because playing online with randoms is just pointless. Because most people are dickheads on there when you're playing with randoms, and you just get lots of annoying people making noises and whistling and playing music and, you know, screaming abuse at you and swearing at you. So I really don't have any time for that at all. Number 2, what's your opinion on online gaming? Well, I think I've just given that, so that's answered the question. So, question number 3, have you ever downloaded games from PSN, XBLA, e.g. Limbo, etc.? No, I haven't. The only time I've done it was when I had the PlayStation, when they got hacked and they gave us those 3 games, that was it. But yeah, in terms of all the independent games, I've never bothered. It's quite weird actually, because obviously Trine 2's coming out on Wii U, and I really like the look of that game, and it's digital only, which kind of annoys me because I wanted the packaged version of it. So I am going to be forced to download that. I think it's a launch title for the digital content, no, I'm pretty sure it is, which is absolutely brilliant because I really want to play it. I just really hate digital gaming. I don't see the point in it at all. I like to have the physical game. I'm just never going to like the idea of having a digital copy. It's crap. Question number 4. Do you wish games would go back to cartridge instead of CD? Absolutely. As I said before, cartridge is the future and it is the past, and it is the best way to play games. Discs, they've just got so many disadvantages. Loading times, people not looking after them and abusing them and getting scratched. Or when you buy second-hand games, it's hard to get them in decent nick. Yeah, they're just crap, really. I mean, yeah, you've got the storage, but I'm sure they can do cartridge storage in masses now. So, you know, it's a real shame. Question number 5, would you ever accept a gaming console that goes fully digital? I'm going to say no, but obviously you never know in the future what can change. But at this point in time in 2012, no, absolutely not, because it just doesn't do anything for me at all. I don't see the point in it at all. And question number 6, when did your hatred for 50Hz begin? It's not that I got a hatred for 50Hz, I don't. I mean, Christ, as a kid, that's what I had was 50Hz, and 60Hz made no difference to me. I didn't know any better. I read in the magazines that 60Hz was better, and you get full screen and it's faster and it's more fun. Well, maybe not more fun, but it's better to have a 60Hz console. But they were just totally out of reach. There was no way I was ever going to be able to afford to import one. So I think it's kind of like in the back of my mind, I've always had that. And then as an adult, being able to import and buy American consoles and Japanese consoles, it's like, well, why wouldn't I? What is the point as an adult of being stuck with 50Hz PAL games when I don't need to, and I can pay the money and have the full speed and the full screen? It's nothing to do with hating them, honestly, because, you know, I can play 50Hz games. I've got a Master System. Okay, I've modded it for 60Hz, but I don't mind playing them at 50Hz. They play just fine. Hatred is a strong word. I've never used that. Alright, the next questions are from Inferno V2, another great YouTuber. It says, congratulations on 3,000 subs. Thank you, mate. Okay. Okay, do you have any questions, any suggestions, so for any more 90s Eurodance? I know you use the 2 Unlimited. Are there any others you like or could recommend? Off the top of my head, that's really difficult. There's Max, who did a song called Getaway, which I absolutely love that tune. Never really listened to anything else that guy did, but it's MAXX, I believe, Max. And if you check that out on YouTube, Getaway, classic tune, absolutely love that song. There's Culture Beat and all, they're a great group, I enjoyed their music. There was, what's that bloody group called? Real something, I can't think what they're called. I've got a bloody CD upstairs. That's really annoying. What the hell's that group called now? I can see it's a bloke with a goatee beard, and I just can't think what they're called. That's really frustrating. But yeah, just if anything, if you haven't checked it out already, just go on YouTube, Max Getaway. Classic 90s tune, a really great song. Okay, next question from Live Alien. If you were surrounded by zombies, here we go, the zombie question, and the only way to kill them was to make them laugh, what would your funniest joke be for them? There's one thing I'm crap at, is jokes. I'd be in deep shit. I'd get eaten by the zombies because I don't know any jokes. I can't think off the top of my head like that. I'd rather just cave their heads in and hope for the best. Great question though, I like that. That's really original, I like it. My good friend Owen, Labosu77, here we go. So question number 1. It's a girls allowed question. I had a feeling someone might ask me a girls allowed question and work it in there, because I always ask people who their favourite member is. So, I'm into first question. If a plane carrying you and girls allowed crashed in the Andes, which of them would you eat first? Jesus Christ. Probably Nadine, but she's not in the group anymore. But if she was in the group, yeah, she'd be the one I'd eat first, because she's got the most meat on her. Because you try and eat Cheryl Cole, there's nothing there. And same with Nicola and Sarah, and Kimberly's quite chunky. So that's sounding really bad, then it's she's chunky. She's not chunky, but she's not anorexic, she's just a normal looking woman, she's curvy. So yeah, I don't know, actually I'm trying to think there. Maybe not, maybe I'd eat Cheryl and Nicola to speak. Cheryl and Nicola first. Just take your time and save Kimberly and Nadine and Sarah, because they got a little bit more meat on them. So you got to think long term, haven't you? I don't know how you come up with that. Question number 2. You had all your SNES games in the hold during the same plane flight because you were journeying to make a new life with the band in the Brazilian rainforest, only for tragedies to strike. Jesus Christ. Which games would you build a house out of? And which would you burn for heat, and which would you save? Oh my God. Alright, which ones would I build a house out of? Oh, that's a good question. I'd probably say the majority of them I'd build a house out of. I'd burn games that I'm not that bothered about, which I'm trying to think of which ones I've got. Things like Chester Cheetah, because it's alright but it's not brilliant. And games I'd save are Mario World, Mario Kart, Mario All Stars, all the Street Fighter games, Castlevania 4, absolutely, Turtles in Time, Contra 3, Batman Returns, definitely save that one as well, probably Axlay as well. I think, yeah, I'm still leaving a lot of games there that I really need to save, but those are the main ones. Longest ever non-stop gaming session. I believe it was, well, I've never actually just played games all the way through solidly, but I've had a session when we was younger, we tried to stay up for 24 hours, and there's a lot of gaming involved in that. Managed to get to about 22 hours, I think, and then we fell asleep because we was knackered. So that's probably the longest, but it wasn't constant gaming, so I've never really had a constant gaming time. I've never really timed myself either, so I don't know. I mean, probably like the most is probably like 5 or 6 hours, depending on what the game is. If it's something like Heavy Rain, which just sucked me in and I was just like there for most of it, I don't even know how many hours I spent playing that. The first day, I started in the afternoon, I played it through to the evening, but I don't know what time I came off. I was on it for a long time. That was an amazing game. And number 4, your finishing move if you were a wrestler. Probably poke their eyes out. That'd be a good one. Probably be illegal, but what the hell, it'd be cool. Okay, thank you for that, Owen. And next one is from 4Eful, and he's asking what my top 5 SNES games are. Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Mario World, Turtles in Time, Castlevania 4, Contra 3. I think that's, a lot of people are probably going to pick those. I mean, they are just some of the best games ever designed on any system, and they're definitely some of the best SNES games. The Flying Ninja number 1 asks, can't think of anything to ask, but well done on the 3,000 subs. Okay, you didn't ask me. Thank you anyway, mate. Cheers for that. Okay, what we got next? Okay, Outdaft UK asks, what games do you feel should be more well known? I'd say in like recent years, like last generation at least, Freedom Fighters, it didn't seem to get as much publicity as it should have done. I know a lot of journalists really liked it at the time. It never really seemed to get the approval of gamers. It didn't seem to get a lot of people talking about it, and it's an amazing game, and it still is. The controls are a bit off at the moment because obviously it's last generation and they're a bit awkward, but once you gel with it, the game is brilliant, the story's brilliant, the levels are brilliant. It's just so much fun to play, and I would definitely recommend playing that one. What else is there? I'm just trying to think of anything this generation as well. Just having a look what I've got, but I think this generation is difficult as most people know most of the games. It's really hard to find a game that's underrated. In fact, quite honestly, I would probably say this generation was 007 Quantum of Solace by Treyarch. That game is brilliant, and it really doesn't get the credit it deserves. I did a gameplay a long time ago, I think it might have been a Saturday special, Really, really good game. I've probably enjoyed that when it first came out, and it's just one of those games you can go back and play over and over again, and it never gets old. I still find it weird that it's Quantum of Solace, but it mixes bits of Casino Royale in there. Never understood that. Why didn't it just make two separate games? But yeah, I'd go with those two. Okay, just get my mouse to work. Next questions are from Blaze Vincent, and he asks, what would be the first game you would buy if money was no object? Dracula X for the SNES, without doubt. As I said earlier, that's, at the moment you're looking at about $250 to $300 for a mint condition box copy, which is a lot of money. So if I had the money, then I would buy that, because at the moment it's going to be a case of having to save up for a long time to buy it. But if I had the money now, and it was no object, absolutely I'd buy that. And I'd probably also get Iron Commando and all for the Super Famicom, because Craig Sherry mentioned that one a while ago, and I was checked out some footage and it looks amazing. But Jesus Christ, it's expensive. And also, recently saw Cyber Snake 7 be a total jammy bastard and pick up Rendering Ranger for £80, which is ridiculously cheap. And he's so lucky, and I've wanted to play that game for such a long time, and I'll never own it because there's no way I'll ever get it for that price. But you never know, maybe I will, but I highly doubt it. So yeah, those two definitely. Those two, in fact those three, wasn't it? I mean, it's Castlevania Dracula X, Rendering Ranger and Iron Commando. That was it, yeah, 3 games. Next question is, what would be the first console you would buy if money was no object? It's a tough one, because at the moment I've owned all the consoles I wanted to own. So there isn't really a system that I want that I can't afford to buy, that's out of my reach. But most of the retro stuff, they're not really that overpriced. I mean, yeah, Neo Geo, it's a couple of £100 for a console, but I mean I think most people can afford that at some point. Even if you have to save up for a couple of months, you can get that. There aren't any consoles I can think of that are out of reach. So, I mean, at the moment, I would say if money is no object, I'd go and get a Neo Geo CD, because I really want one, and that's probably the only system I actually want at the moment. So yeah, I'd go with that one. And just congratulations on the subs as well. Thank you, dude. The next question is from my good friend Craig, Minx36. No, hang on, it says question 3, so they're earlier questions. Aha, there we go, I've just found them. Okay, so question number 1 from Craig is, have you ever had a bad dream about something terrible happening to your game collection, like a house fire or a burst water pipe soaking them and ruining them all? Only to wake up so relieved it's not true that you go into your games room the following morning with your copper and caress your games, telling them that you love them and won't let anything ever bad happen to them. No, I haven't, mate. Thank God. I think if I start having dreams about that, I'm in trouble, and I need to stop collecting, because I'm taking it too seriously at that point. God forbid anything like that ever happens, though, touch wood, because that would be bloody depressing. Question number 2 from Craig is, what disc-based games do you own that you dislike so much that you would happily use to scoop up the shit that the neighbour's cat has took on your backyard? That's a good question. I'm trying to look at me over there what I got. I'd probably say any Call of Duty game. Only joking. Well, I don't know, because I've got rid of most of the ones that I don't like now. I've whittled it down a little bit. Yeah, I sold off a lot of PlayStation 3 stuff that I didn't want, because there's no need to keep it at all. In fact, if I'd still got it and I hadn't sold it, I would use Mercenaries 2, because that game is a pile of crap. That's a shocking game, that was. Oh, that's a good question. I like that, mate. Well done. Question number 3 from Minx36. Craig asks, what disc-based game do you own that you don't necessarily dislike, but don't mind getting damaged by using it to throw at a neighbour's cat's head when you see it trying to take a shit in your backyard? Here we go again. And the crafty effer thinks no one can see it doing it. So it's basically a game that I don't dislike, but don't mind getting damaged. I don't think that's even possible, mate, to be quite honest. It's either I hate it or I don't, or I like it. I couldn't possibly have a game that I sort of half like and be willing to damage, because I just couldn't damage a game anyway. I just felt really bad about doing that, and it would play on my mind if I did that. Yeah, so I don't think I could. I'd have to pass on that one. I'd have to let the cat shit on the lawn. Right. Next questions are from GamerLev. And his first question is, how old do you think you will be before you stop gaming? Hopefully I won't stop gaming. Hopefully, unless I get arthritis and I can't game, I won't stop. So it depends what happens when I get to like 80. If my body's crippled and I can't use my hands, or my mind goes and I get Alzheimer's or some shit like that, then I won't be able to game. But I'm going to try and play for as long as I can until I die, because you've got to, ain't you? You only live once, you've got to enjoy it. Question number 2, what's your favourite game of this generation? Uncharted 2. Don't even have to think about it. Without doubt, the best game I've played this generation, the most amazing gameplay, fantastic story, awesome characters, stunning level design. I mean, just everything about that game is fantastic, except for that crappy boss at the end of the game. The rest of the game is absolutely amazing. That boss is just I don't understand it. Never have understood that bit. But yeah, Uncharted 2, without doubt. And question number 3, which do you find more fun to collect for? Start again. Which do you find more fun collecting or playing games, or has this changed over time? Playing games, without doubt. Playing games is always going to be more fun than collecting. Collecting has its own sort of enjoyment, especially when you've been hunting for a game or a console, in fact more a game, for a long time, and then you find it, especially if you find it and you get it cheaper than you should be getting it, when you get it for a good deal in really good condition. And there's just no feeling like that at all, to hit that jackpot and to just see it on eBay or something and just be like, I've got to have that, just click that button, and to then know that it's coming and it's yours, it's just absolutely awesome. But yeah, without a doubt, collecting, I would give up collecting tomorrow, because if I had to choose between the two, because playing games is way more important. And if you ain't enjoying playing the games, what's the point of buying them? That's the way I look at it. Next questions are from Paul Blakeman 7. Hello Paul. And he says, congratulations on the 3,000 subscribers. Thank you, mate. And his first question is, what would you say is the best looking SNES game you have played? Ooh, now that's asking a good question. That's really hard. Which one's got the best graphics though? Well, best visuals. Ooh. Yeah, that's really, really difficult. I'm trying to think of all the games I've got that I've played so far, and there's a lot of them just look absolutely stunning visually. I'd probably say it's gonna be really obvious, but it's probably gonna be like Donkey Kong Country, because that game is really, really impressive. Or even Star Fox, because Star Fox to me, even though obviously it looks aged now, it looks old, it's still really impressive that they managed to do that on that system, and I just can't get my head around that they actually did do that. It just looks such an impressive piece of software. It's just phenomenal really that they could manage to do that on that 16-bit 2D console. So yeah, I'd probably still say at this point it is Star Fox. I'm sure I'll find games that are probably going to be better, but at the moment I'm sticking with Star Fox, I think. Next question from Paul is, do you deep down wish Nintendo had made a super powerful new console which would match the PS4 when it comes out instead of the current gen matching the Wii U? Not at all, not in the slightest. Power, I'm fed up of seeing the power argument online, to be quite honest. People just keep bitching about the power constantly, and in my opinion, it does not matter at all. It's not about the power, it's not about the graphics, it's about the software. If the games are crap, no one will buy the console. It's always been the way. Power has never dictated being the best console anyway. If you look at every generation, the most powerful console is usually not the most successful. It's not important at all. I mean, at the end of the day, you look at the Wii U lineup for day one, and it's a phenomenal launch lineup. They've got a really strong launch lineup, and then going forward to March for the launch window, they've got consistent great games coming out, and I'm sure they'll continue on that path, and hopefully they will. Hopefully they'll just keep bringing out brilliant games. So the power is not important to me. And when people say it's on par with current gen, that's bullshit, because it's not. The Xbox 360 came out in 2005, the PlayStation 3 came out in 2007. So you're talking 6 and 7 years old technology there. The Wii U is modern technology. Okay, it might not be the most up-to-date modern technology, but it is way more modern than those two consoles. And every generation is the same thing. The first couple of games that come out in the first year always look about as good as or slightly better than the last generation. And then as the developers learn the tricks of the console and how to get the best out of it, the games will evolve. I mean, it happened this generation, the Xbox 360, you look at it in 2005, the games look fantastic, but they only look like a slight step up from the Xbox. And now in 2012, they're really maxing out the power of it, and the graphics are just way in advance of what we got on day one. If you compare like Call of Duty 2, Perfect Dark Zero, Condemned, Project Gotham 3 to all of the games that we have now, there's just no comparison. As I said before, Call of Duty 2, compare that to Modern Warfare 3, it's just leaps and bounds in difference. So I'm not bothered about power, it doesn't matter. I just want good games, that's all I want. Good games and innovation with that gamepad. And that's probably asking a bit much that the developers are going to actually innovate, but fingers crossed they will. Next question is from, let me see, El Capitan 964. And he asks, do you still have your main cabinet, and if so, how often do you use it? I do, it's just over there. I've not used it for a while, I'll be honest. It is kind of like there when I need it. So it's not something I play on regularly, but it's just nice to have it there so that when I do have the urge to play arcade games, I've got the option. But yeah, I've definitely still got it. I'm not getting rid of that at all. It's absolutely fantastic. Next question is from McSpark86, and he asks, are there any games you like but people hate, and games you hate that people like? Okay, well, I'll start with games that I hate that people like. Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy in any RPG, yeah. I know that's going to piss off Owen and it's going to piss off a few other people, but I don't get it. I played Final Fantasy 7 and I thought it was absolute shite and I didn't understand it, and it was just like, the thing that did it for me when I played Final Fantasy 7, and fair enough I didn't play a lot of it because it annoyed me, was the battle system. I just the whole taking turns thing, I was just sitting there going, what the bleeding hell is this crap? I just don't understand the point of playing a game that way. It's just dumb to me. But I just don't like RPGs. They do not interest me in the slightest. And games that I like that people hate. That's a good question as well. I'm just trying to think of anything that I like that people don't like. Oh yeah, of course, Pit Fighter. What's I'm thinking about? Loads of people hate Pit Fighter. I did do a gameplay a while ago and actually found out quite a few people on YouTube actually like it, which was nice to see, because it's got a reputation of being absolute crap, and it really isn't. It's a good fun fighter. I really enjoy that game, and I always have done since the arcades. But yeah, I'd say Pit Fighter, definitely. My good friend Alex, old Blue Tonic 78, old reliable. Okay, Alex has got a couple of questions for me, and says congrats on the 3,000. Cheers, mate. First question is, you're having a discussion about the Wii U with a friend, and they're on the fence with buying one. Is this you, is it? What would you say to try and convince them? It depends on the friend. If there's someone who knows about gaming and they know about the Wii U and what it has to offer, or if it's someone who is a casual gamer and has only experienced the Wii and doesn't really understand the point of upgrading to the Wii U, what it can offer. I think the only way you're really going to convince people, if it's gamers, the only way you can convince a friend who's a gamer is quite clearly with games. As long as they're not power obsessed, obviously, and they're all about the graphics and all about the CPU and all that other bullshit, which doesn't matter. If you can just say, look, this is the software that's coming out on day one, and if you know that person, you know the kind of games that they're interested in, you can just say, well, look, you've got Batman, you've got new Mario game, you've got Zombie U, you know, you've got I'm trying to think what else there is. Brain Freeze, that is so annoying. Call of Duty Black Ops 2, obviously, because people love Call of Duty, so that's available. It's just, you know, I'm trying to think, there's like 25 games or something out on launch, but you know, you can tailor-make your arguments to the person by saying, look, these are the games that are coming out, I know you're going to enjoy them, and they're going to look fantastic, and they're going to play great, and then explain to them what's so great about the gamepad and the innovations that it could bring to the game, and how it can make it different. I mean, obviously with Call of Duty Black Ops 2, they've shown the local multiplayer where one person uses the TV and the person they're playing against uses the controller or the gamepad to say with the screen, which quite honestly, even though I'm not a multiplayer fan, I do like local multiplayer, and I love that idea of using that screen on the gamepad. Awesome. If it's someone who's a casual gamer and they're looking at it and thinking, why should I upgrade, that's a bit more difficult, because they're not really that bothered about like the games that we play, and they're more bothered about Wii Fit and things. So it's a little more difficult to say to someone, you need to pay 250, 300 quid, well maybe 250 for the basic one, to upgrade to this system to play Wii Fit or to play Cooking Mama or whatever other game they want to play with this new gamepad, because it's going to slightly increase the experience. I don't really think it's an easy sell, that one at all, and I actually think Nintendo might have a difficulty selling it as well, in that respect. We won't say the advertising campaign, apparently from what I've read online, will start this weekend during X Factor. So that's going to be cool. I hope they get the adverts right. But yeah, that's a really good question, Alex, and I hope you can get one, mate, because I know you're starting to lean towards buying one, so I hope you can get one, because that would be absolutely awesome, mate. Especially if you can play each other as well, which would be absolute quality. And question number 2 is, does the thought of a full collection... oh god, the full collection question. Does the thought of the full collection on any system ever seriously cross your mind, or is it something which you simply aren't interested in? As you know, mate, it has crossed my mind several times with several systems, just like yourself. The thing that always puts me off, if I'm honest, is that you have to buy a lot of games that I probably never want to own or play. With certain systems like this generation, last generation, it isn't as bad, but I mean, because like the RPGs now are to a minimum, so it wouldn't be that bad. The sports titles I play and enjoy, but when you're talking like Super Nintendo, as I said earlier in the previous video, you're talking a lot of RPGs, and that would be a complete waste of money, and a lot of money, especially when some of them are like 100 quid, so it's a difficult one. You have to really pick a system that you really enjoy and want to experience and get the most out of. The N64 is something that's always interested me, because there really is a good variety of games there, and there's a lot of games I'd play and give a try to. That doesn't even make sense, that I would try out. So yeah, the N64 is something I'd like to do, and the Master System as well, because I absolutely adore the Master System, and I think it's a great system to go for a full set for, because there's a lot of arcade games and a lot of pick up and play fun to be had, and so it tailors itself well to me. But realistically, I don't know if I could ever do it. And you also have to consider space as well. I mean, obviously storage is a massive issue when you're talking full collections. You need a big room, and that's not something I have really available to me. So yeah, I don't know. Never say never. So I'm waiting to see. I'll never commit to it though, just in case I don't do it. And next question from Alex is, you're attending auditions for the X Factor, oh my god, and have prepared 2 songs for the judges, and one of them has to be a duet. Which 2 songs would you sing, and who would the duet be with? Oh my god. Well, you've got to try and pick 2 songs that haven't been used on the X Factor, which is difficult, because Christ man, they milk the same bloody songs constantly every single year. I suppose it's mainly because they want to show off their vocal range, and that's where it becomes difficult to pick songs that show off your vocal range. Depending on your own type of vocals, you have to understand what suits you best to do a good audition. Oh god, that's really hard. It'd probably be, and it's going to be obscure, but Stone Sour Bother, because I love that. It's just a really chilled out rock song, great for expressing vocals as well, to really show what talent you have. And if one of them has to be a duet, oh my god, I'm trying to think of duet songs now. That would be really good. Oh my god, I'm stumped. My brain's just not going to work for me here at this point. You've got me there, mate. I don't know. Duet. Let me see what song would be good for duet. God, that's really... And you get questions like this, it really stumps you. You just go, I can't think. I don't know. I really don't know that one, mate. That's really hard. Oh, actually, yeah. That, I don't know what the song's called, but that one that Bryan Adams and Mel C did. That, When You're Gone, I think that was what it was called. That was a great tune. That would be really cool to do. So you need a female. So we'll pick a YouTuber, because I don't know what you mean by who I should duet with. Like, you mean someone on YouTube or someone just in general. So if we go with a female YouTuber, let me think. Probably be Jurassic, because she's absolutely awesome, and I think she'd be a good laugh to go on X Factor with. So yeah, I'd pick Charlie. Okay, so thank you, Alex. Thanks for the questions, mate. Top bloke that you are. Next questions are from another great YouTuber called 16-Bit Brit, Adam. And Adam asks, you're basically on a deserted island. You got bored of Birmingham. Yeah, I got bored of Birmingham a long time ago. You can only take one game, one joypad and one console, regardless of what you choose. Let's imagine they're compatible. Okay, what would you take? I mean, don't worry, adequate amounts of sustenance will also be available. I'm going to say food and water is more important. Right, okay, so one game, one joypad and one console, and they don't have to match up. Alright, that's an interesting one. I don't know how that would work. Okay, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Yeah, there's an interesting one. Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I want to say Super Nintendo joypad because it is the greatest pad ever made. But let's try and make it interesting. Oh. I want to try and pick a different game, a different system, a different console. So if I was to pick a joypad, I know I've got the console in mind that I'd like to see Street Fighter 2 Turbo on. It'd be quite interesting to see how it would have turned out. Joypad wise, you go a 6-button pad. So I ain't going to say Mega Drive one because I don't like it. I find it really awkward to play Street Fighter with. So I'd say the DualShock's crap. You can't play Street Fighter with that. Same with the Xbox pad. It's bloody awful for playing Street Fighter with. Oh. I'm just trying to think. The N64. I haven't played any fighting games, so I don't think I'd work on that. Yeah, I'm just going to have to go with Super Nintendo pad because I can't think of any pad that can match up to that for Street Fighter. So we've got Street Fighter 2, Super Nintendo joypad, and the console of choice is going to be the Atari Jaguar. I'd love to see that. That'd be interesting. Oh, yeah, I've got to assume that the console would somehow play a Super Nintendo game and upgrade it to the 64-bit version of Street Fighter. That'd be really weird. It'd be quite interesting. You'd probably make it 3D and it'd be crap, but I'd like to try it anyway. Okay, next question is from Sony PS Gamer, who asks, he says, congratulations on the 3,000 subs, thank you. And it says, well deserved. What games are you going to pick up for your Wii U? As I said before earlier, I'd rather not say, just because I want to make the pickup video of interest for people to watch. Because if you know what games I'm going to pick up, then it doesn't give you a reason to watch the pickup video on November the 30th. Sorry about that, dude. Are there any current generation games you're looking forward to for Christmas? Yeah, let me see. What's coming out Christmas? You know, I actually don't know off the top of my head because I'm just thinking you've got Medal of Honor Warfight's coming out in I think a week or two. There's Halo 4 next month coming out. After that, I don't know what's coming out because I was hoping that Last of Us would be out by the end of the year, but I think it's coming out next year now. So at the moment, other than the Wii U games, there isn't anything I can think of that's coming out around about Christmas time on the PlayStation, Xbox, and Wii. So I'm really going to have to go have a look and find out what games are coming out, get a bit of research for that one. And last question is, do you have a final goal for your SNES collection? Certain number of games or complete collection? I've always said I wanted to do 200 games. I think that's enough. Because obviously I think there's over like 700 or over 900. I'm not entirely certain because the lists keep changing every time I find one. But I think 200 games is more than adequate for a Super Nintendo collection. I could never go full set because they'd just be ridiculous. You know, in terms of price and storage and RPGs, it just wouldn't work. So, and also the rare games, and I'll try and track them down. So I think 200 is probably a good idea. I'm not, you know, I've still got a lot of games to buy that I've got. I can't remember how many I've got on my list. I've got over 100 games that I need to buy. So I won't be far off 200 at that point anyway. And then I might, if I'm just shy of 200, maybe say 10 short, what I'll do is I'll just try and have a look on the list and find 10 games just to make that equal. But yeah, I think 200 is enough. I don't need to go higher than that. Next question is from Crazy Angel. I think that's how you say it. I hope it is anyway. And first question is, will there be a new Xbox collection video? Yes, everyone keeps, well, I've had a lot of people asking me about this, and yes, I will definitely do that. I will definitely take time out of my life and make that Xbox video, because I know a lot of people want to see that. So I do apologise, it hasn't come yet, but I will get around to filming that and put it up for you. And question number 2, do you enjoy PC gaming? I haven't played PC games since Doom, basically, or no, Quake. That would have been the last game I played on the PC. When I was back in the day, I used to play Doom, Wolfenstein, Quake. I think it was it SimCity? I think I used to play SimCity quite a bit as well, and Populous as well. But I've never really been a PC gamer due to the fact that you have to upgrade your machine and the price involved, and I don't like PCs because they're unreliable pieces of crap for the most part. So yeah, it's never interested me. Consoles are easier. You just pay your couple of £100, buy your console, put your game in and play it. So it's a lot easier. The next question is from, is that Crofley1, and it says, do you ever stand in front of your game collection and think, shit, I can't decide what I fancy playing, or does it depend on the mood you're in? Must be a hard sometimes be a hard decision with a huge collection. It is. I mean, I had this with the Xbox the other night actually. I was looking to play something on my new TV that I just picked up, and I just couldn't decide. And literally, I was just like that, going back and forth through the pile of games, and I was just like, I just can't decide. I ended up playing Far Cry in the end, which I've not played for a long time. Man, that game's harder than I remember it to be as well. I got my arse kicked. But yeah, it's really tough. Sometimes it's easy. I mean, sometimes I'll just have it in my head, I really want to play a game, and I'll just go and play it, and I can pick it out of the library, that's fine. And that's mainly why I collect anyway, so I've got a library of games that I know I'm going to enjoy, and especially with the Super Nintendo. If I ever get the urge to play Castlevania, I can just go and play it, or Mario Kart, or whichever game, it's always there. But if I'm just in the mood for playing games in general, yeah, it's like films, isn't it? Or music, you can just look at your collection and be like, Jesus Christ, I just cannot make a decision, and it's kind of frustrating. But it's nice to have it. Let's just put it that way. It's great to have the option, I suppose, to have that selection. Okay, next one is from, right, well, maybe these are the last questions then. And this is from, in fact, we'll do two more YouTubers' questions, and then we'll close down part 5. So our next question is from IRP Gamer. It says, congratulations on the 3000, thank you very much. And it says, my question is, what's the full reason why you're not a fan of games becoming digital or going to the cloud? Is it because you prefer to physically own your games, or is it something else entirely? That is exactly what it is. I just don't like the point, I don't see the point in digital. I've always thought, well, if you have digital content, it all seems to be a bit iffy as well, in the terms of like Sony only allow you to download the game so many times. I think it used to be 5 times, then it was 3 times. They downgraded that, and you know they have the whole digital rights management. They won't let you transfer it on from the hard drive to another hard drive for privacy reasons. And I know that when you obviously you've heard things about Microsoft, when you buy a new Xbox and transfer it over, is a pain in the arse. And I always think in the future as well, like way in the future, 10-20 years down the line, when these consoles are no longer around and the servers are down and you can't download this content anymore, because I don't think they're going to, they're only going to keep them up as long as they're popular. So there's going to come a point where they're going to take them down and we won't be able to access them. And then all of that content you spent all that money on, and you haven't got anything to show for it. And I just think that's crap. At least if you've got a disc or a cartridge, you have that physical medium. If you take care of it, it will work for years to come, and you will have plenty of enjoyment out of it. So yeah, I think that's much better. Plus also digital, you have to like download gigabytes of information, and with the internet the way it is, the infrastructure just isn't there, and you're talking hours to download a full game, and they overprice them as well. Sony, and I don't know about Microsoft, I've never looked on the store, but I know on the PlayStation store they charge like 50 quid and that for a downloaded digital version. They can piss right off. That's ridiculous. There is no way you can charge the same as a retail, or more in that case, because they're charging £10 more than a retail game. You can't do that for a digital copy. There's no manufacturing, there's no disc, there's no packaging. You can't charge the same or more. That's ridiculous. So yeah, I just do not like digital at all. I think it's pointless. Okay, and the last couple of questions are going to be from Shock16 Adam, really top YouTuber and good friend of mine. He says, massive congratulations. Thank you, Adam. Couple of questions. Question number 1 is, I've always wondered why you collect for the NTSC and not PAL. Is it due to the 50-60Hz, the artwork, the look of the console, the US exclusives, or is it more cost efficient? Maybe it's a combination of all those factors. Just wondered why you prefer US to UK when it comes to collecting. Yeah, it is pretty much as I said earlier, because when I was a kid, the magazines used to really promote the fact that 60Hz was the way to go, and import consoles were better because they had full screen, no borders, and they had full speed, and we were really missing out in the 50Hz PAL territories. And it's all stuck in my head. As a kid, it never bothered me in the slightest, but as an adult, I've got the option and the disposable income to go and buy 60Hz, so that was the only reason I ever decided to go for Japanese and American games. So it was definitely worth it as well. Cost efficient, not really. Super Nintendo, it doesn't matter if you buy PAL or NTSC. Japanese is the best. Hey guys, sorry about that, the battery died on me unfortunately. As I was saying, yeah, with the PAL and NTSC, in terms of cost efficiency with the Super Nintendo, it makes no difference really if you buy NTSC or PAL, because they're just really expensive no matter which way you go, unfortunately. Obviously there are some games that are reasonably priced and cheap, but like the big hitters and the well-known games, they can sometimes get quite pricey. And the Super Famicom is the best way to go, because the Japanese games for some reason are still really cheap, even for all the big titles like the Mario titles, the Street Fighter titles, Zelda, Donkey Kong Country. All of those games are really still quite low priced on the Japanese market. I don't know why that is, there must be a reason for it. But the NTSC and PAL games, American, well, Japanese are NTSC of course, but the American and PAL games, ridiculous. I mean, I've looked at some of the PAL games on on UK eBay, and Jesus Christ, man, the prices for them are just stupid. I just think it's mainly down to people taking the piss and just trying it on a bit with the prices. I don't think it's legitimate. I mean, it's always difficult to value these games because obviously it's what you're worth. It's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it, and you're always going to get idiots charging too much. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely not cost efficient either way, really. I mean, Super Nintendo collecting in general is just not an easy thing to do. If you're a loose cart collector, that's a piece of piss. You can't go on with that. They're still quite pricey, but not that bad. But if you go for mint box games, yeah, it's not something I would advise to do unless you've got a lot of patience. Okay, and the last question for part 5 is question number 2 from Shock16, and Adam asks, is there any game or game series you would like to bring back or reboot for current gen gaming? I did answer this earlier, obviously on a different question, but I'll come up with a different game, and I would actually say what I would like to see would be not so much a reboot, but a sequel, and that would be Freedom Fighters 2. That game should have been made, and I believe that they were going to make it at some point. I think it might have got canned, I'm not too sure, but they really should make a Freedom Fighters 2, because that game is so brilliant. I think it probably is down to them, maybe it didn't do too well in the sales department, and therefore it's hard to justify making a sequel, but I'm sure if we look around, I'm sure there's bound to be a lot of fans of that game out there. And if you've never played Freedom Fighters, Adam, go and play it because it's absolutely awesome. And anybody else, if you've never played it, please play it. It's on Xbox and PlayStation 2, and I'm pretty certain it's on GameCube. I'm not definite, but definitely check it out. It's a quality game. Yeah, so that's it really, guys. So thank you for watching part 5. I hope you're enjoying these Q&As. They are quite long, and I do apologise for that. I know some people love the long videos. I do myself. I enjoy a long video, and other people don't. But I mean, even if you have to watch them in parts, as long as you're enjoying the content and you want to see more, that's all that matters. So I've got quite a few questions left to go, so I don't know how many parts it's going to be, but hopefully it won't be too many parts, but we'll wait and see. But either way, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in part 6.